Super Mario Odyssey wastes absolutely no time kicking into high gear, with the opening cutscene featuring Mario already mid-battle against Bowser atop his airship, all in an effort to rescue the apple, or should I say Peach, of his eye. In any other Mario game, this might as well be the final battle, but here it's only the start, setting the stage for what looks to be an epic, well, Odyssey. And I know this because I recently had a chance to play the game for 90 minutes or so spread across 3 different kingdoms: the Cap Kingdom, Luncheon Kingdom, and Seaside Kingdom. And I came away with an even better understanding of what makes Super Mario Odyssey more of an odd-issy. See what I did there? And I really do mean that in the best possible way. Because this game really might be the weirdest mainline Mario yet, with Mario exploring worlds the likes of which we've never seen before, and frequently while in bodies that aren't even his own. Yeah, it's pretty weird. But you probably already knew that, so let's talk about the things that you don't know. And let's start off with the Cap Kingdom, a kingdom that's full of hat-shaped beings and buildings, which I unfortunately can't show you because Nintendo isn't allowing any new footage of this kingdom beyond what's already been shown. So I'll try my best to explain what it's all about while using old footage from the trailers. So the kingdom begins with Mario knocked out cold, after having been knocked off Bowser's airship. Cappy is watching over him, urging him awake, which he can do with the tap of the A button, causing Mario to jump to life, which scares the cap out of Cappy and sends him running for the hills. And once you catch up to him, Cappy gives you the rundown of what's going on here. So as it turns out, Bowser attacked the Cap Kingdom and kidnapped Cappy's sister, Tiara, and in the process left not only the buildings here, but the kingdom's entire armada of airships in ruin, which are obviously also shaped like hats. However, Cappy continues that he's heard that there's a usable airship in the next kingdom over, and he can get you there if you take him to the top of the nearby Top Hat Tower. It's at this point that Cappy, who managed to catch the remains of Mario's hat after Bowser destroyed it, takes on its form, granting Mario all of his abilities. And it just so happens that the Cap Kingdom is a perfect playground in which to test them out, because the Cap Kingdom is made up of gently rolling hills that encourage running, jumping, and, well, rolling yourself. And there are things to play around with all over the place by tossing Cappy at them, like boxes to break, flowers that bloom, and lampposts that light up. There are even frogs here for you to try out Cappy's capture ability. And seeing as this is your first capture target, there's a hilariously elaborate cutscene that shows Mario traveling into what appears to be the very consciousness of the frog itself, before he reawakens in his new form from a first-person perspective, and looking down at himself in shock to see frog hands in place of his own. It's pretty fantastic. Now, if you thought Mario was a strong jumper before, you ain't seen nothing yet, as Frog Mario can totally outjump Mario by at least a factor of 3. And it's a good thing too, because you'll need those high jumps to climb up the tower's steep interior. And at the top, well, you'll find those rascally rabbits, the Brutals, waiting for you, including a boss fight against a short green one. And once you defeat him, a power line will appear that connects to what appears to be a distant city, presumably the kingdom that Cappy mentioned earlier. But unfortunately, that's where my demo for the Cap Kingdom ended, but I still had 2 more to try out. So next up, it was time for me to play with my food in the Luncheon Kingdom, a kingdom that's filled to the hat brim with fruits, vegetables, cheese platforms, and it's all surrounded by a dangerous lava-like liquid. And this level provides a glimpse into how the game's more open-ended structure may work, because as soon as I entered the kingdom, it introduced me to my first primary objective, titled "The Brutals Are After Some Cooking." So yeah, as you may have guessed, there's another boss fight involving them here too. And once I defeated him and collected the moon, the game then introduced the next major objective, and so on and so forth. It's a little bit similar to how the missions in Super Mario Sunshine worked, except this time you're not kicked out between each one. And like that game, the levels change and evolve as you progress through them. But unlike Sunshine, Odyssey encourages you to go off the beaten path to discover additional moons beyond the primary ones. Such as how, early into the level, you might come across a girl Goomba who's just looking to find love, specifically in the form of Goomba Mario, as in one that you possess. But the catch is that she's stuck up on a high ledge, so to reach her, you'll have to carefully jump on top of other Goombas in order to make a stack tall enough to reach her, all without being hit along the way and losing your stack. If you pull it off, you'll get a power moon for your efforts. And maybe a new girlfriend too. Well, for a few seconds anyway, because the poor girl looks terrified as soon as she witnesses the horror of Mario exiting the Goomba's body, and she takes off in a hurry. Oh, that Mario, always a heartbreaker. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a boiling purple liquid all over the place, and the only safe way through is by capturing a lava bubble, which then allows you to swim through it freely, collecting goodies and reaching platforms you may not be able to otherwise. One of which was an island that led to a super cool old school 2D section, with a level following the contours of the island as 3D fruit rolls by intimidatingly, though harmlessly, overhead. I truly can't get enough of how well these 2D segments are incorporated into the 3D gameplay. It's such a neat idea that feels both classic and entirely new. I then swam to another island where I found a door that would only open if I left Cappy on a nearby scarecrow, meaning I'd have to go on ahead without him. Get it? Mario's ahead, going ahead without him? Forget it. And it just so happens that that door leads to a platforming challenge room, full of floating, rotating shapes. It reminded me of the best part of Mario Sunshine being the flood-free challenge levels that truly put your platforming skills to the test, without the safety net of FLUDD, or in this case, Cappy. Now beyond Goombas and lava bubbles, frying pan flinging hammer brothers are another enemy that you can capture, and you'll need to use their unlimited supply of frying pans in order to break down the cheese blocks found all over the place, and uncover the secrets they may be hiding. Finally, it was time for me to visit the third and final level of the preview event, Seaside Kingdom, which is home to some snow-like creatures who have a big problem. And it might just be my favorite of the 3 levels that I played. And not just because it's gorgeous, but mostly because of how fun it is to both explore and traverse. And since this level felt like going on a tropical vacation, let me go ahead and give you the highlights of my trip. And number 1 has to be exploring the ocean. I mean, look at all that beautiful water. Swimming through it just felt relaxing. Until you run out of air, of course, unless you find an underwater bubble. And that water is hiding a ton of secrets underneath its surface. Like this amazing 2D Mario section that requires entering and exiting it via several warp pipes to collect everything inside, including, of course, a power moon. At another point, I discovered an underwater tunnel that required me to capture a Cheep Cheep in order to breathe long enough to reach the end, while avoiding a series of creeping eels. Next up is Travelogue Entry 2, Discovering Unique Forms of Travel. Okay, so this one should make you Mario Sunshine fans happy, for a second time. Because there's a special flower here that attaches to Mario's back and propels him across the water at high speed, FLUDD style. And you're gonna need it if you want to collect this line of musical notes before they disappear, which of course nets you a power moon. It doesn't last too long, but it's fun to mess around with while it does. But my favorite way of getting around in this level has to be by capturing these little guys. Fueled by the water bubble that surrounds them, they can jetpack across the water and into the air for as long as their bubble holds out. In addition, they can spray water at 360 degrees, which is a great way to quickly clear out lava. Oh, and they're absolutely essential for taking on the boss here, who's guzzling up all the sparkling water. And on that note, we have Travelogue Entry 3. And this guy gets his very own entry because he's such a fun boss to take on. But before you can battle him, you'll have to explore the level to find 4 giant buttons that you need to stomp, in order to knock him off the glass of sparkling water. And once you have, it's game on. Now I can't give too many details on how you take him down, but rest assured it's a lot of fun, as it involves using one of those captured water creatures to jetpack around him and find his weakness. I really could go on and on about the details of this level, such as how the crazy cap store is divided into 2 this time, with both halves being found on a different sea monster, or how you'll find another girl Goomba here to romance, although this time you'll have to navigate a stack of Goombas uphill around some rolling boulders. Oh, and those Goombas, by the way, are all wearing adorable pirate hats. Oh god, it's almost too much. And I haven't even touched on the game's photo mode yet, allowing you to freeze the game at any point and move the camera around in 3 dimensions, including tilting it to grab the perfect snapshot, which you can even add filters to, which should make you Snapchat kids pretty happy. Look, there's even a Game Boy filter. Okay, so maybe this makes me happy too. Needless to say, the 90 minutes I spent with Super Mario Odyssey flew by. Mario himself handles like a dream, and the gameplay is constantly switching things up, keeping it fresh and engaging. Whether it's an old-school 2D sequence, a challenging Cappy-free platforming segment, or even taking control of any of the myriad creatures, which challenges the very idea of what it means to be playing a Mario game. Really, my main takeaway is, I need to play more of this game. Like, right now. And on that note, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Super Mario Odyssey, including our upcoming full review, and everything else Nintendo Switch as well.